Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's Grand Theft Auto 5 video, I'm going to be showing you guys some more famous vehicle recreations of the Sultan RS and the Banshee 900R that you can recreate in Grand Theft Auto Online. You guys showed an absolute ton of support on the first video I did, where we took a look at some famous Sultan RS and Banshee 900Rs from pop culture, video games, movies, and a whole lot more. I had a ton of fun making that video. You guys absolutely killed it with the support, and today I'm going to be showing you guys a few more pretty famous car versions that you can recreate as Sultan RSs and Banshee 900Rs. It should be pretty awesome, so let's not waste any more time and let's jump straight into it. Alright, so the first vehicle we're going to be starting with isn't a recreation of a famous one, but one that I'm calling the Triple R, the Redwood Rally RS. Now, I think this is a really cool looking combination that you can make for the Sultan RS, so I also wanted to include it in this video, and I thought it would get the video off to a nice start. So obviously, you're going to take the Sultan RS to Benny's, and what you're going to do is modify the bumpers first. Now, for the front bumper, you're either going to select the C1 loop bumper or the C2 loop bumper. Both of them are pretty similar, so either one you want to choose is totally fine by me. I think in this video, I actually choose the C2 bumper, but again, you can choose whatever you want. On the rear bumper, you're going to need to choose the classic RS bumper. It's going to give this nice, clean, but still kind of rally racy finish that we're really looking for. Now, once you've upgraded the bumpers, you're going to need to head over to the chassis, where you're going to work on headlight trim first. For headlight trim, you're going to choose the basic headlight vents, which ultimately look pretty cool on the vehicle. You're going to add the rally fog lights. You're also going to add a carbon roof vent, and you're also going to add a window safety net. Again, we're making this a rally/racing car, so we do want that safety net on the windows. And finally, last but not least, you want to apply the full padded roll cage to the vehicle. Up next, we're going to be applying an upgraded exhaust, and the one we're going to be choosing today is the big bore side exhaust. Again, this is my personal favorite, and for this car, it happens to work the best, so choose that one. For the fenders, we're going to be choosing the secondary color bolt-on arches. Again, we're making this a rally and racing car, so we want it to look a little bit rougher than some other variants that you might see, so choose the secondary color bolt-on arches. I'll explain why we'll need the secondary color a little bit later on. For the grille, you're going to want to go ahead and choose the Monster intercooler. That's the last option, and it looks the best for this. And for the hood, you're going to want to make sure you have the scooped hood. This is by far my favorite hood, and it also works best for this vehicle that we're creating, so choose that one. Now, you don't have to modify anything for the interior. This is totally optional, but I found that a certain set of seats works the best, and that is the carbon track seats. So those are the ones that I like the best. Again, you can choose any different model, make, or variation that you want. But as far as the inside, that's the one I'm going to be choosing. And the only other thing I'd recommend as far as that is making sure your trim color is black. Again, that is optional, but if you do want to go with the, I think in my opinion, best looking design, choose your interior color to be black. Now, after that, the only interior option that you're going to change is going to be the doors, and you're going to change that to primary color door cards. Again, this will make more sense once we start choosing the color. Now, as far as choosing your color, it is pretty straightforward. Our primary color is going to be a ice white. So we're going to make ice white as our primary, and our secondary color is going to be black. Now, I know this combination might look a little bit weird right now, but it's all going to pan out once we apply the livery, and that's what we're going to be choosing next. And the one we're going to be choosing is the Redwood Racing livery, which is not only going to apply the awesome red kind of diagonal stripe, the sponsors, the Wiz Wireless logo, the Redwood text, but it's also going to make the hood white as well. So the Redwood Racing livery is absolutely incredible. It also goes perfectly with those window nettings that we have on. So again, that color looks absolutely amazing. Now, after that, you want to make sure you go to roof option and select Vortex Generators. Again, we're going for a still pretty simplistic look, but the Vortex Generators do give us that nice touch on the roof. As far as the skirts, you're going to want to make sure that you choose secondary color mud flaps. Again, stock is also a fine option, but I like the secondary color mud flaps to give a little bit of black towards that white base. And finally, last but not least, we're going to be modifying the spoiler. And the spoiler you want to choose is the Painted Classic RS Wing. Again, it gives us that nice combination of black, white, and also another Redwood logo. And once you're done with that, really the only thing after that is the option to choose the wheels, and you're going to choose the Tuner Wheels Super Mesh. So super mesh wheels, and I decided to make them black. I thought that that gave it the best overall look, and since we were going with a white, black, and red theme, I figured that went with the color scheme also. And that's pretty much it. That is our Redwood Rally RS. I think it's simple. I think it's got nice hues of poppy colors like the yellow and the Wiz Wireless sponsor and the red. And also the logos that you can see all over the car look absolutely beautiful as well. So this is the Redwood Rally Racer for the Karen Sultan RS. Again, this isn't a car that was like recreated of any famous version, but I thought that it looked really awesome and I wanted to include it in this video. So it's simple, sleek, but still looks amazing. All right, up next, we're going to be looking at a 2-for-1 special. We're going to be recreating the real-life Bravado Banshee that Rockstar has created, and also the one from Grand Theft Auto 3. So to give you guys a little bit of a backstory, a few years ago, Rockstar actually did a competition of some sort when they literally gave away a real-life Bravado Banshee. And it looked like this. It was this blue and white, like Dodge Viper, I think. So it was really, really cool. This was the color scheme they choose. And funny enough, the lady who actually won this car sold it. She gave it away. So I don't know who owns it now, but it's one of a kind. It's got like a Bravado logo on the front. So it's super rare and super unique. And that's the one we're going to be recreating today. And also at the end, I'm going to be showing you guys a little bit of a twist that you can make to give a nice retro throwback to Grand Theft Auto 3. Okay, so I know it might seem we do lots of modifications to these cars, but in this episode, if you're a fan of just simple touches, you're really going to like this one. So for starters, we're going to keep the stock bumper. That's right, there's a bunch of other options, but ultimately the one that makes sense for us is the stock front bumper. So when you get to that option, keep it as is. Up next, we're going to be modifying exhaust, and I personally think for this, the twin carbon can works the best. I know everyone likes to choose cannons, but again, this was a civilian vehicle that was created, so honestly, the stock exhaust or the twin carbon can will work best. I went with the twin carbon option. For the fenders, you're going to want to make sure you have rivetless rear arches selected, which is going to give us a smoother look. And for the hood, you're going to want to make sure you keep the stock hood option. And in its stock variant, it's already got the like dual vents on the hood, which look really nice. That's the look we're actually going for. All right, now as far as liveries go, there are a couple options. Now, the classic traditional version of this car would be to select none as the livery option. However, since this car is going to have a white stripe running down the center, the white 900R power stripe is not a bad idea. Now, that would make it a little less traditional, but if you wanted to recreate that version, you totally could, and I'll show you guys that at the end as well. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and select none. I'm just going to keep that off for right now. Now, as far as your colors go, for the primary, we're going to be selecting Racing Blue. This is the perfect color that we're going for. It's bright, but still has that medium shine to it, so that's the one we're going to be going for. And for our secondary, we're going to be choosing Frost White, which is not only going to match the power stripe on the side, but also gives us that nice shiny white color that we want. Now, for the skirt option, you're going to want to choose either low skirt or street skirt. It's going to take away that carbon fiber piece near the rear wheel. So either one of those options work great for this. We're not going to be selecting any spoiler because there technically is none on this car. The only thing we're going to be looking at is the tailgate. Now, the tailgate has a few options: stock, smooth rear deck lid, and honestly, the one we're going to be using, and honestly, we're just going to be sticking with stock. It gives us that kind of like ducktail spoiler that we're honestly looking for. So for our car recreating this, it is the best option. And you might be shocked to hear this, but honestly, the best wheels for this car are the stock one, especially if we're going for one that Rockstar created themselves. So we're going to go with the stock wheels and also following up with the dark limo tint, as I believe the car in real life had like a pretty dark window tint on it. And other than that, that is pretty much it. This car is absolutely amazing. The color is beautiful, and really it's just that perfect recreation of the one that Rockstar added in the game. And I told you guys at the beginning of this video that I would actually be able to show you guys what it looked like in GTA 3, and the only change you're going to need to complete this is actually change the wheels. So if you want to do that, you want to go to wheel types, Benny's original, you want to go to triple spoke, and honestly, that's pretty much it. Now, it does look a little bit ridiculous as those are lowrider wheels, but that's pretty accurate to what the Banshee in GTA 3 looked like. And if you want to make another change, you can also remove the power stripe livery from the side, as clearly there were no liveries in Grand Theft Auto 3. But those are the two designs. The real-life Rockstar created Banshee and the one from GTA 3 both look beautiful. All right, so up next, I'm going to be showing you guys another classic Grand Theft Auto Banshee. This one's actually coming from Grand Theft Auto 4. This is Brucey Cabooses' Bravado Banshee, and he called it the bitch in game. Now, you might have known this. There was actually a funny cutscene where he couldn't get it to start before a race, and I thought this was the perfect opportunity to recreate it in this game. Now, like the one we just did, there isn't going to be a ton of modification, but sometimes, like I mentioned earlier, simple is often the best. So to get this started, we're going to have options for the bumper, and like our last vehicle, we're going to leave this on the stock option. There is no need to change it from the stock option. Exhaust, we're going to make race exhaust, as Brucey was a racer and he liked to race his vehicle. So again, you're going to choose the race exhaust. And other than that, you're going to choose the fenders, selecting them rivetless rear arches once again as well, giving us a smoother look, followed up by the hood option, which we're going to remain at stock also. We want to keep the same design of those two vents, and the stock option allows us to do that perfectly fine. Up next, we need to choose our livery, and for now, I'm going to say none, but after we create this first version, I'm going to show you guys how to create a pretty awesome modern 2016 version of Brucey's Banshee. So for now, we're going to select none, but in a little bit, we are going to be modifying that. For the primary color, we're going to need to select black. Now, there's multiple versions of black, but again, you can go whatever one you want. I just chose standard black. And for the secondary color, you're going to choose bronze, which gives us the perfect combination of black and that bronzy gold that Brucey had in Grand Theft Auto 4. And other than that, believe it or not, that is pretty much it. The only thing you can really do is modify the wheels. There are two sports wheels that work really well in particular. The first one is Cosmo, and the second one is Dash VIP. So either one of those are going to work perfectly fine. So I recommend that you choose one of those. And that's it right there. That is Brucey's Banshee from Grand Theft Auto 4. Very simple, very sleek. I love the color combination of the bronze and black, and it's just a simple, sleek design. Now, if you want to upgrade this and make it the more modified 2016 Benny's edition, there are a few changes you can make that will still keep its classic look, but it'll give it a nice upgraded feel. So the first thing you're going to do is upgrade the bumper. Now, we're not going to go too crazy, but we are going to change it to the classic RS bumper. This not only adds a few more features, but also adds a nice piece of carbon at the bottom, which gives it a nice, smoother, slicker look. So that's what we're going to be going for there. And honestly, other than that, the only thing we're going to be changing is we're going to be making the livery the black flash. And the black flash is typically on other cars will add this streak of black going up the side. But obviously, because our primary color is black, the only thing that stands out is the Bravado Racing logo above the rear wheel and the sponsors Zero, Atomic, Chapal, and Power Metal. So you can see what happens when we change to yellow flash. It adds that weird little, arrowy thing, wing going up the side. We don't want that. Instead, what we're getting is a very nice, simple Bravado Racing logo and 4 sponsors, which looks absolutely beautiful in my opinion. You still get to keep Brucey's look, but you get to add that Benny flair that has been so awesome with upgrading these two new vehicles. So that's what you can do, and other than that, that is it. That's the upgraded version. Very simple, very simplistic, but adds a little bit of pop and flair. Those sponsorships on the side look great. The upgraded bumper looks awesome. This is Brucey Cabooses' Banshee from Grand Theft Auto 4, known as the Bitch. Hope you guys did enjoy this one. It was amazing. But let's move on to our final two vehicles. All right, so our final two vehicles are going to be pretty much contrasts of each other. This first one, I'm actually calling the Dark Knight. And I call that for a few reasons. One of them is I'm trying to model it kind of after the Batmobile style. So speaking of the Dark Knight, the first thing we want to do is change the color. And for the primary and secondary, you're going to choose matte black. I think the matte black adds a little bit of a cleaner finish than the metallic shiny black. So for primary and secondary, both choose matte black. From there, we're going to upgrade the bumper of the car. We're going to be choosing the C2 loop bumper or the C1 loop bumper. Again, I'm really not even sure the difference between the two, so either one of those work just fine. And for the rear bumper, we're going to be choosing the classic rear RS bumper. Those two are going to give the overall car a nice feel and a nice look. Now, once you've done that, we need to do some upgrades to the chassis. Headlight trim, you're going to start with adding the primary color light covers. We're going to be totally blacking out the headlights, again, giving it that Dark Knight feel. Up next, we're going to be adding regular rally fogs, followed by a roof vent. For doors, we're going to make sure that none is selected. And for the roll cage, we're going to be selecting a full padded roll cage. Now for the exhaust, I would imagine that the Batmobile would have a big bore side exhaust. So that's the one that I ultimately went with. Again, you can choose whatever one you want though. And the next thing we're going to be upgrading is the fenders. Now, when you think of Batmobile, you think of this crazy wide vehicle. However, I don't like the wide body arch extensions that much. So either primary or secondary bolt-on arches will work perfectly fine. So if you choose either one of those, you should have no problem. We want the arches to have the bolts on them to give it a little rougher and tougher look. So that's ultimately what we're going to be going for. After that, you want to modify the hood. We're going to be using the scooped hood. Once again, my favorite hood. So every time we get to use this, I absolutely love it. And other than that, the next thing you're going to be upgrading is the livery. And for this option, we're going to be choosing Street Drifter. Now, Street Drifter is really cool because it's like black parallelograms that are outlined in white. But because we already have a black base vehicle, we get this really cool effect. It looks like it's just the white outlines. And I think it looks great. Not only does it give a little bit of flair and flash to our Dark Knight mobile, but it also adds some cool sponsorships along the base of the door and also on the rear bumper of the car also, which is great. I think it gives it a little bit of variety, a little bit of flash, a little bit of pop, which is ultimately what we want. After you're done upgrading the livery, we need to move on to the roof, where we're going to select Vortex Generators. And also after that, we're going to select our skirt option, and I chose primary color mud flaps. All right, second to last thing we need to do is actually update the spoiler. And for this option, I'm going to choose the Muscle Killer Wing. After all, this is the Dark Knight mobile, so we want it to be slightly intimidating. So the Muscle Killer Wing is the one we're going to be going for. And finally, last but not least, we want to select our wheels. We want the Tuner Rally Master wheels. We want to make them black, and we also want to remove any custom tire modifications that we have. We want it to kind of be stealthy, so we don't want to have those custom tires sticking out like a sore thumb. And last but not least, you just want to upgrade your window options to make them as dark as possible, so go as far as you can. For me, that would be Limo. And that ultimately completes our Dark Knight build. It's stealthy, it's quick, it's got a bunch of epic modifications on it, it's got a really cool livery that gives it a little bit of pop, a little bit of shine, and ultimately I am a huge fan of this. The matte black looks amazing, the tiny sponsorships look really cool, and this is just a vehicle made for speed, stealth, and overall epicness. So hopefully you did enjoy this version. This is the Dark Knight. Again, you can make any sort of changes you want to make it your own and kind of customized, but this template model should be amazing for you. All right, and finally, last but not least, I told you this other vehicle was on like the exact opposite spectrum of the Dark Knight, and it's actually going to be the Rocket Bunny. And to get this vehicle started, we're going to be first selecting the primary and secondary color. Now, the primary and secondary for this vehicle are both going to be frost white. You can choose ice if you want. However, I think frost is a little bit more appropriate for what we're doing. Once you've selected that, you need to go to bumpers. Under bumpers for the front, we're going to be selecting the race bumper, which I think gives us a nice small touch of modification, but is still pretty clean. And on the rear, we're also going to be selecting the clean cut bumper. This model or design that we're making today is going to be a little bit more clean cut than some of the other variants we've created. So I think that the clean cut bumper works really well. As far as chassis, we're going to be selecting none for both the headlight trim and the rally fog lights, so both of those are going to be removed. For the roof scoop, we're going to make a primary colored roof vent. For doors, we're going to make sure none is selected. And for roll cage, we're going to make sure that we have the full padded roll cage applied. Now, once you've done that, it's time to update fenders. And for the fenders, you can either select the primary color bolt-on arches or the secondary color bolt-on arches. Both of them are going to work perfectly fine because if you've selected the same color, both shouldn't matter. All we want are the bolt-on features that give it a little rougher and tougher look. So once you've applied that, we need to upgrade the grille, which is going to remain at stock. And then we're going to go to the hood, which we're actually going to make the vented hood. So since the hood actually matches the grille, I think that that symmetry looks pretty nice. Now, after that, we need to select liveries. Now, you can do one of two liveries. One of them is going to be none, which I think works really cool. It kind of gives you like a snow bunny effect. And then the other one that works really well is the Black Classic RS Stripe, which I'm actually going to call the Stormtrooper variant. So either one of those works. I'll show you guys both of them at the end of this video. For now, I'm going to select none, but you can see at the end, I select it and it works perfectly fine. After that, we need to go to the roof option and select none. I know this is like the first time that we haven't updated the roof. So again, select none there. After that, we need to go to skirts. Now you can either select stock or you can do primary color or black rubber mud flaps. It doesn't matter. Either one of those three work great. For the spoiler, we're going to be doing a slightly less insane spoiler. We're going to be choosing the extended lip, which gives us a nice look in the rear. And finally, for the wheel type, we're going to be choosing tuner, and we're going to be selecting the Indo V2 dash wheels. So those obviously look really nice, and if you make them black and if you add custom tires, you'll make your car look that much better. And pretty much after you do that, that's it. That's the Snow Bunny. Again, if you want to do the all-white variant with no livery, it does really create that Snow Bunny effect. Or if you want to do the black livery, you really do get this epic Stormtrooper look that is truly one of a kind and is very unique. So anyways, that's all the vehicles that I'm going to be showing off in this video today. Once again, I'd like to remind you that these videos are here to serve as a template. You can make any changes you want. You can add any features or take away any ones that you don't want to have. Again, this is the template. Use your creativity to ultimately make the designs you want. But hopefully they were helpful and hopefully you did enjoy. If you did, be sure to leave a like rating on the video. That would be awesome. And also subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new or you like daily Grand Theft Auto 5 videos like this. With all the way, guys, like I said, thanks for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.